You're listening to the Pants Off Podcast with Clark Bartram and Jeremy Jackson.
CBTs, performance apparel, where fashion meets performance. Upload your custom design or grab the CBTs Deal of the Week at clarkstees.com. The podcast with CB and JJ is sponsored by Providence Video Productions in Escondido, California, providers of full creative, video, and audio production services. Utilizing state-of-the-art professional equipment for all your broadcast needs. Webpage, embedded or live streaming videos and podcasts. Aerial drone videography. Music videos, 3D animation, studio and field production. Contact us at providencevid.com.
Oh yeah, we are live on the Pants Off Podcast here today, and I got a very, very special guest in the studio. I am really excited to bring this man on because he is just someone that I look up to. Even though he's younger than me, he's a guy that's accomplished a lot in his life, and he's still out there working hard to continue with those accomplishments. And I hate introducing them this way, but it's going to change here shortly because after he hangs out with me, he will get re-signed in the NFL. Former NFL kicker, Mr. Nick Novak. Give him a hand, Jim. Come on. Oh, that's laughter. There we go. That's kind of some weak. Welcome to the Pants Off Podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So, Jim, why don't we go ahead and just play that right out of the gate so these people watching the Pants Off Podcast today can see who this guy is and what he's capable of. And he's certainly not Sylvester Stallone. So, there.
All right, let me look it up here.
So Nick is, guys, for those of you who don't know, this guy is an NFL kicker, and I just Googled game-winning kick, and here we go right here. Do you remember this, Nick?
I do. Last game of the season against San Fran. 40-yarder with our backup holder because Mike Cypher's got a leg injury.
So the pressure's on because it's 35-35. You're in overtime. You have a backup holder, which is a very important position. Because if he ain't holding it right, you ain't kicking it right.
Right. Yep. This is
Da.
And we got a flag. Got roughed the kicker on this one.
Oh, you got roughed, huh? Oh yeah, look at that. They took you down, man.
A little acting,
Okay, yeah. Kind of soccer style acting.
It was a good finish. I think we did not go to playoffs that year. We went to 2013.
But everyone got excited. Phillip Rivers got all excited. He came running out there, and that guy's not in the NFL anymore either, man. So let's talk about that, Mr. Novak. You played for a lot of teams. You were first signed with the Chicago Bears, right?
Right.
And then from there, you bounced around. You were at the Redskins. You had a pretty formidable kick at the Redskins, too. They called it the fourth most memorable.
You've done your research.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I started Chicago Bears undrafted at the University of Maryland.
Yep.
Then had a bunch of competition there, got released, then went to the Dallas Cowboys off waivers. I was still preseason. Then after that, the Redskins, regular season. Had a couple games there, filling in for an injured veteran, and John Hall, who was a great kicker in his own right, and played a long time. Played about 7 games, had a game winner, and the great thing about kicking game winners in a young career is that you show people you can do it, that you're clutch, that you have that in you, and that really extended my career. I think another 3 years, and that was still my rookie year. So I think having gone through that experience, got me signed again with the Redskins the following year when the same kicker got hurt. Then I went to the Arizona Cardinals. Their veteran kicker got hurt, Neil Rackers. So I got a couple years filling in for injured guys. Got released from Arizona. Neil was coming off a Pro Bowl season, record-breaking season. I think he made 44 field goals. And then I have 3 field goals in that record-breaking season. So together, we had, I think, about 44 field goals. Then get released the following year, 2006-07. I was actually out of the NFL. Went to the NFL Europe, played in Germany. It was a great time. Helped me, I think, just get game experience, just be the starter for an entire season. Came back, Went to training camp with the Chicago Bears again. And then Robbie Gould was the guy there, so it got released. That served its purpose as far as playing and being in an NFL club and continuing to be around that environment. Then the Kansas City Chiefs, probably the first opportunity to be a starter in the league. And for whatever reason, I was just kind of up and down. I couldn't get into a rhythm. That was completely on me. Then,
Do you think that's more mental than anything else?
I think so. For a younger guy, I was still kind of young.
How old are you at this time?
I'm just turned 37.
No, at that time.
At that time, I was 23, maybe 20.
So you're my kid's age at that point. You're in the
23.
NFL, and there's a lot of pressure with that, man.
Yeah, but having gone through all these competitions and things, and earning the Kansas City job, competing against great kicker Billy Cundiff and another great kicker, Connor Barth, really earned that job in the off season. I think just once the season started, I was a little maybe burnt out, and you pretty much have to get ready for another season. I mean, every day is competition in the off season when you're not the guy. And you have to earn it every day, or else you're at risk of being released. So you also have that kind of pressure, just bringing your best every day. If you don't, then you have the risk of two other kickers outperforming you.
So there's a lot of other pressure too that I don't think people really talk about. It's the pressure of your friends, your family members, all of the people that take so much pride. Hey, my son's in the NFL. Hey, my husband's in the NFL. My dad, all of that sort of stuff. I don't think people really think about that too much because that adds pressure too, right?
I mean, my parents were. I think the expectation was never, hey, we're going to make it to the NFL, or, I've had a good career in college, great snapper, great holder, and we won a lot of games. But sure, I mean, everybody wants to perform well. You're on national television. Everybody can see what you're doing.
Right.
You're not behind a desk and you mess up. Your boss knows, but not the entire world doesn't know your mistake. So, but that's part of it, and that part of it I've grown to really love, and it holds me accountable every single day. In a gym or on a field, thousands and thousands of reps.
That could be your agent right now. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if this is his agent calling.
Upland, California. No, I'm not answering it. It's
Okay.
probably a solicitor. And so that part of it I love, and probably my greatest fear, or my greatest, is letting down my teammates. It's not like, oh man, I have Novak on the back of my jersey and the team I'm playing for. And of course I don't want to let down my team or let down my name. I always want to do my job to the highest ability and all that, but letting down my teammate probably is what holds me accountable the most, and just being able to, and training at a level every single day that I know when the time's called for my numbers called to go on the field and do my job, that gives me confidence that, okay, I'm prepared.
So that brings up the fact that you're going to come off the field one way or the other, either really happy or really bummed out. There's no in between. So you went on there, you're expected to do a job. You only get called out every once in a while, right? It's not like you're touching the ball every play. You come out, you're a specialist. You're expected to do one thing and one thing good. So when you do miss, especially a game winner in a big situation, and you're walking off and you're going over to your bench, I mean, how much pressure does that feel, and how much can that affect your life, as far as being depressed and not being able to sleep? And because, again, that goes, a lot of what we're talking about goes far beyond what anyone will ever see. You know what I mean? And it's real stuff. It affects you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever admit it, that it affects me. Of course, it's
okay, though,
terrible...
to be transparent and real, because everyone that fakes that they're not, right, I know that they're bullshitting and it's a lie, because we're all human. And I cannot imagine the level of expectation. I know the level of expectation that's placed on me, just to be me. And I'm nobody, you know what I mean? But to have that type of pressure, you got 52 other guys, coaches and people, and then all of the ancillary people around you. And I'm not trying to set you up for anything. What I'm trying to help people understand is the NFL is a business, man, and it is a very serious business. And you heard Nick say that every day is a competition. You heard Drew Ferris say the same thing when he was in here. Every day you have to compete. So the underlying theme here at the Pants Off Podcast is the fact that I want everyone to be able to take something away from whatever interview I'm having here today. And there's a lot that people can take away from what you're sharing here, even though they'll never step on a football field in their entire life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, to miss a kick, I think the greatest thing to do is rebound and make the next one. You know, it's not good that you didn't do your job, but you still have 3 quarters to play, 2 quarters to play. You maybe still have a chance to win the game, so you got to snap out of it and stop feeling sorry for yourself pretty quick. You still have a chance to go, okay, now you're 0 for 1. You may go 3 for 4 that game still. Or you may hit the game winner in the end. No one's going to remember the missed kick in the first quarter. So you had to have more of that mentality that life's not over, the game's not over, there's still time on the clock. My attitude's always been, we win the game, that's the number one objective. Did I do my job the best of my ability? Did I contribute? You know, that's kind of like go through the checklist of it all. If I go 2 for 4 and we still win the game, and I hit an important kick to put us up in the end or to tie it, then I'm still happy and we won the game. But you can't get down. You'll have a real short career in any profession if you don't bounce back and just keep moving forward.
There you go. There's the takeaway, ladies and gentlemen. You got to bounce back and keep moving forward. So you had mentioned something earlier at the beginning of the interview that you had a good kick in a game, and that extended your career by 3 years. So one kick could make or break you in the league today because it's so competitive, right? So if you go out and you do one really good kick and you perform at a high pressure level, that could establish you for a while as the guy. Or if you miss that exact same kick, that could be, oh, let's start looking at this other dude who's warming up right now.
Right. I mean, that kick against the Dallas Cowboys, the kick against Seattle Seahawks, those were all with the first-year, second-year game-winning field goals. And that kind of kept the momentum going for me. Because there's always younger, more talented guys out there that keep coming up from college ranks or are on the street waiting for their opportunity. But I think I established early on, hey, I'm clutch. I see myself as clutch still to this day, and that I am a weapon if a team wanted me. I feel that there's that gene or that thing that has been developing through college, being pushed by coaches, being challenged by teammates, you know, make this kick for the run, or there's just little tests like that in practice, and that's where I think it comes from. You're not born with a clutch gene. It's something developed. Sometimes you got to experience failure. You got to miss kicks to know what that feels like, to bounce back and be tougher, and that skin just gets gradually tougher and tougher after going through those ups and downs.
So is 37 too old in the NFL today?
No.
Well, not for you, but in the minds of the decision makers. Are they looking for a 27-year-old, or is a good 37-year-old or a great 37-year-old still like, okay, let's get this guy? Just got to be a winner.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I don't think age matters. If you take care of your body,
that's what I always say.
You still look like you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
You probably, so. I mean, kicking a field goal is such a dynamic movement. It's like golf. If you can perform the skill, still have range, you know, you still you're not getting injured. Last year was the first time I went on IR in 13 years.
Yeah, what happened? You hurt your leg, your back?
It was my back oblique, and
so you planted wrong and swung through
in my kicking side.
Yeah,
and it's hard to say what brought it up or what caused it, but it's
the straw that broke the camel's back, man. It's always what it is. It's a combination of things that add up to something at some point.
Right. I was probably doing something I shouldn't be doing technically. Just from a performance technique, I could be taller, probably crunching too much, and then it just started adding up and accumulated effect of doing a technique a little bit wrong.
Right. So now you're signed with the AAF, the American Alliance of Football. Is that the right name for it?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So Now, let's talk about that a little bit, because a lot of people don't realize that there is another league that will extend the football season after the NFL stops playing. This new league is doing a lot of things that the NFL should be doing, could be doing, probably wants to do, but can't do. So give me some specifics about the AAF that people might not understand. I know there are no kickoffs.
There are no kickoffs. I believe there's no extra points, just field goals.
Okay.
I go for 2. NFL rules, as far as I know, most of the teams are all in warm climates. The season starts February to April. I think training camp is in December. I'm playing for Birmingham, Alabama. They have the rights to Maryland players, and I think just that region. And also, it goes by your last NFL team. So San Diego, they have a team. That didn't work out for whatever reason, so I'm playing for Birmingham, which I'm excited about. They actually called me and pursued me. Every athlete wants that. Feel like
it's nice to feel loved.
The other side respects you for what you have done, and I really got that feeling. And head coach is Coach Lewis, so I'm excited to work with him, defensive backs coach.
There's a lot of big names in that league.
Yeah, Ned Polian is the GM or commissioner. So I'm excited. I think it's legit. It's not competing with the NFL. I think there's going to be eventually a partnership there. It's kind of a farm system. That's not the reason why I'm doing it, but I think it's great for guys that need to play, get playing time. And then, see, right now I'm signed, but I can still work out, be available to play for an NFL team at any point this season.
Well, they're probably honestly expecting at some point that you're going to get snatched up, because this is the time of year that starts happening, right? The guys start either not performing, getting hurt, something happens. So are you, let's keep it real. Mm-hmm. So are you kind of silently hoping that a guy gets hurt, but not too bad, just hurt enough so he can't kick next week, and they call you and you just go ball out?
No, I would never. I know
you would
all
never
these
admit
guys,
that, but he knows everyone. They're all friends, but on some level, man, you got to hope that something happens so you get your chance, because it's survival of the fittest. All that matters is what happens. And hey, listen, this is a nice guy. He is a quality man, quality family man. Integrity and character and all that. But when you're competing, man, you're competing. So sometimes you got to just got to get real. You know what I mean?
I mean, the reality is they can't. If they're not performing, and if they get injured, an opportunity is created. So
right. So a guy lines up to kick, and you're like, miss it. Maybe you don't want to get hurt. So, miss it. I would be. I'm just going to keep it real. I'd be hoping, man, I hope this guy, he misses like 3 in a row, and then I'm going to turn my phone up on high and keep it up there, because I know I'm going to be getting a call at some point, man. Listen, life is, competition is awesome, but it's oftentimes, not friendly, but it's not hateful in any way. It's just a part of what we do, as people that like to compete. I love it, man. I think it's fun, but, people are hoping that, they want Clark Bartram to get old so they can step into what I'm doing, but,
I'm sure some young guys are like, man, just retire already, Nick. Just get off the circuit so I can have a chance. I'm sure there's some young guys that feel that way.
Right.
So I can imagine. I've been in those shoes before, where the older guys are still kicking, and it's like, all right. But no, I mean, once you've tasted the league, once you've played, you want to play for as long as you can, and
that's got to be fun, man.
There's no better feeling in my opinion, than to be out there lining up for a game-winning potential field goal.
What's your most fond moment of playing in the NFL specifically? Could be a locker room moment, game, just anything that sticks out in your mind that you'll never forget, that you'll tell, your grandkids.
So, a lot of the games against the Colts, playing against Vinatieri, who's considered the most clutch field goal kicker ever to play. So for me, that always raised my game to my focus to a level where I go back, and it's like I've had games where 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 against him, or running off the field as the ball's still in the air,
knowing it's going through.
And I remember 50-yard field goal at home in Qualcomm, and Nick Hartwig, I'm running towards him, and we chest bump in the air, and I fall on the ground. It was like one of the best moments, just because we put the game out of reach. We were up by 2 scores, and it kind of iced the game. And Vinatieri went 3 for 3 and had like 350-plus yard field goals that game.
Yeah, let's go.
So,
dude, if you chest bumped Hardwick now, you'd knock him over. That guy's lost like 150 pounds, man.
I actually work out at his gym a lot, the Renegade boot camp, fit camp.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an Orange Theory type of workout, more of a lifting emphasis. But, yeah, I see him a lot, and we joke about that. He says I'm stronger than him, but he can run faster than me now. That's what that's.
I can't imagine the amount of weight that linemen just have to keep on that's so unnatural to them, because you see so many of these guys that look like a completely different person after they retire, man. Losing 70 pounds is not uncommon.
Just falls off.
Like that.
I think for Nick especially, he was a wrestler growing up. I think naturally it was hard for him to keep the weight on. So I think he was just, once his career ended, it was going to fall off. It was just the way his metabolism is and the way he is. He loves, fitness. He's so motivated now to help others. But yeah, most of the retired offensive linemen lose tons of weight, which is probably the best thing for them.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It's crazy. So is Vinatieri still playing?
Yes, he just hit a 57-yard field goal in preseason.
Dude, how long's that guy been playing? Like 25 years now?
I don't know what he's going on, 22 years maybe.
So is Carney have the record for the longest time?
I think Carney, I don't want to take any years away from him. I think he was played 22 or 23 years.
23, yeah. You broke his record at the Chargers for the most consecutive kicks?
No, we tied 34.
You tied. Oh, okay.
I told him I'm just going to miss one so we can tie and share the record. I had too much respect for him to beat him on that. So.
That's one of your mentors, man. Yeah. You can't do that to him. You got to go look him in the face when you're going to kick with him. You don't want him to hold any secrets back.
That's right. Yeah, we try and kick together a lot, like 3 times a week still, and he's got a great thing going out in Carlsbad. So it's.
Could he still go kick in the NFL today at 54 years old, however old he is?
Give him a field goal job where a guy's kicking off for him. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So are kickoffs a lot harder? Well, just because you're running down and doing coverage,
well,
you might have to tackle a guy.
You want to kick the ball at least 65 yards, which is the goal line.
But didn't they change that though? Now aren't they going for the corner now instead of kicking it out of the end zone to pin you back in the corner? Isn't that the new thing?
They changed some rules. So if the ball hits the ground in the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. So you can directional kick, hang it up, try to get them pinned in the corners. So yeah, that's something that I've always worked on, because I've never been out of the back end zone kicker. I've always been a -2 to a -6 kicker, and these guys now are just like -6 out of the back is kind of what it's become. But I think the emphasis isn't always about touchbacks now, which is nice and kind of extended my careers. Let's hang this ball up and put it in the corners and cover.
Right.
Right.
So there's a lot more technique to that, like from how you place the ball to where you kick the ball to,
It comes down to steps, and there's a different swing for more of a hang time kick than a distance kick for like a out of the back lower hang time. So you change little things up, make adjustments, just like if you were golfing, different types of.
Okay. So guys always joke about kickers in the NFL. They say they don't get any respect. Oh, you're not a real football player. You're a kicker. All of that. How did that all pan out for you over your years?
I think if you work alongside the rest of your teammates, and I never saw myself as just a kicker. I wanted to be alongside the guy running, the 110-yard sprints, 10 times that day, and make sure that they saw me working just as hard as them. Because unfortunately, when you do miss a field goal, they've still got your back. If you're not there training every day with them, they're like, maybe they don't have your back as much. So that was always important to me, that they saw me as a teammate, a football player, not just hey, it's the only thing you do, or we never see you work, or just someone that I want to earn their respect. And the way you do that most of it is doing your job, go on their field and make the kicks and make the big kicks, and that's the best way to earn the respect of your teammates.
Yeah, man. If the offense pushes the ball 80 yards and then they just can't get it across the goal line, then they send you in. It's like, at least get us 3, man.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's always been my mentality. If let's get the ball inside the 35-yard line, 30-yard line, where the ball snapped from the 30, it's a 48-yard field goal. If it's inside 50 yards, 3 points on the board if we don't get in the end zone. And that's the confidence that I have in myself and what I try to give my quarterback and offensive coordinator, head coach, and like, okay, we have if we don't get a touchdown, we're going to get 3. So I've never been a talker about, hey, like, I've tried to remain humble. There's a quiet confidence in me. So I'm not, that's hard for me to say, just sit here and talk about what I want to do or what I'm going to do. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of talking, we all have conversations in our head, right? On a day-to-day basis, you know, it could be anyone. We have these conversations that are either going to talk us up or they're going to talk us down, right? We could say, oh, man, it's going to be a horrible day, or I'm going to have an awesome day. So when you are called on to do your job, and there's a lot today with sports psychology and psychologists, and you know, 20 years ago, no one would ever think about talking to a quote-unquote shrink as a part of your tool in your toolkit as an athlete. But today, golfers, everybody has somebody that they go and learn how to create a conversation in your head that's going to give you a better opportunity to win, right? So what does it sound like in your brain when you're walking out or jogging out to go line up for a game-winning kick that might be just outside of your range, that you know you're really pushing yourself and the pressure's on? What are you saying to yourself as you walk out there? Because I think that, honestly, is the most important thing that we could take away from this whole entire podcast, is this conversation that we all have with ourselves, and how do we manage it? How do we get it to where we need it to go?
Well, I have my routine. I'm in the net. I know a field goal's coming. Let's say it's a long one, like a 53, 56-yard field goal, somewhere in that range.
So you're warming up, and you know you're about to be called.
I know it's good.
Yeah.
Second down, I usually start heading to the sideline, and I always run in from the opposite end of whichever end zone we're going towards, so that I run down the hash towards the spot where I'm kicking.
Okay.
So mentally, I see a field goal far away, and as I get to the spot, the field goal gets closer and closer.
Huh. Wow.
So that's a mental trick that I play with myself, so that when I get to the spot, it's getting closer, and it's maybe a 53-yard field goal. But
now, did someone teach you that, or is that something you just realized one day?
No, actually, Robbie Gold.
Wow.
My rookie year, we just had conversations about sports psychology, and that's one of the tricks that they teach. The other one is just breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Because of course your heart rate increases sometimes on the sidelines.
So keep going step by step. So you're running down towards the goal. It's getting closer to you, so it feels it's on second down. So then you start warming up in the net, and then is that when the breathing starts?
Well, I'll be in the net before we cross the 50, so I'm constantly getting ready. And then now we're in field goal range. The breathing starts before I get on the field. So I'll go 5 seconds in, hold my breath, 5 seconds out, and it slows down instantly. And
we do that a lot here on the Pants Off, but we usually do it every show. I did it right now. Okay, keep going.
Right. And run out there, do my thing where I go to the hash, run down it, and I don't say anything to myself or to my holder. Some guys have a routine where they hit the holder's head, or the holder says something to him, or the guys have different cues.
Do you tell your holder, listen, I don't like being talked to. This is kind of our thing. Let's just be quiet when we go out there and let me get in my zone. Because I hate it when people, like, guys come to my house and train, and I'm trying to do something that's pushing me. Come on, you can. I hate that. I like pure silence.
You don't like to be slapped in the face?
I don't like being slapped. I don't like being touched. I don't like being talked to. Just let me get in my own place. But anyway, go ahead. Do you have that conversation, or is that just something he figures out?
Well, when I was in San Diego, Mike Cyphers was my holder.
Okay.
Best holder I've ever had. And then, it was no coincidence that the most success I've ever had in the league was with the San Diego Chargers. He was like my sniper spotter. So he would feel the wind, or he knew exactly where to lean it. Hey, my target line is left middle, right middle. He knew where to put the laces based on my target line.
That's crazy.
That's the only thing we would communicate with and make sure we were on the same page. This is what I'm thinking. Right middle. Good. So if you have different winds, you lean the ball differently into it. Little tricks that you learn along the way. Great. The good holders know it. But that's about it. And then the confidence comes in practice and all that stuff. You go through your there might be 2 cues where for me it's I'm looking at the left panel. I want to stay inside the ball before contact. So left panel, finish the kick. Left panel, finish the kick. And that's always just been, I keep my head down longer than most. The ball's usually through the uprights before I look up. And it's just something that I've taught myself to feel a kick, whether it's good or bad, instantly before I see it go through.
You'll know right as soon as it leaves your toe. That's in, done. I'm running off. I'm not even looking.
I've just never felt comfortable peeking before, because those are the ones that miss by an inch by your left, and they may have felt good, but I attribute that to good coaching early on, when that's train yourself to feel a good kick off your foot.
But you didn't answer my question yet. I said, what is the conversation in your head? That's the routine. But are you saying, come on, Nick, you got this, brother. You're awesome, man. You've been doing this your whole life. What does that sound? Because I do these things in my brain. I'm telling myself, Clark, you're awesome. You're good, I mean, sometimes we have to get outside of ourselves to really understand the power that we have within ourselves.
Well, I'm not going to answer your question just yet. But
Okay.
I know of a kicker, Matt Stober.
Okay.
He would yell at himself, say, "Get out of my head!" Like, he would tell whatever voice is in his head.
Okay.
And he would be on the sidelines, and there's stories of teammates like, "What?" He's talking to himself, and he's yelling at himself to get this voice out of his head telling him he can't do it, or maybe just giving him doubt.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that, but I definitely go off of previous experiences. Like, you've been here before, you've done this, you're going to make this, you're ready for this. And I visualize as I'm walking out there, as I'm going down the hash, the ball already going through, I'm kicking it, the ball in flight, and how I want the ball to look as it's flying. I see the kick before I make it. I think that's an important thing to tell you.
But you never look up and see if it actually goes the direction that you imagined it was going to go, because you keep your head down.
True.
You got to see if it matches up at some point.
In my mind's eye, I'm imagining this ball
Right.
rotating perfectly and going straight down the middle.
Yeah. How important is visualization in your opinion?
For sports performance, I think it's like as important as sleep. As you get older, you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. It's just as important, I think, as far as performance, is to spend, because you can't do 100 more reps. Say you did 100 reps that day, and 50 of them were perfect, or they're close to perfect, or you just maybe hit 25 reps, and all those 25 are perfect, but you want to do 25 more. Well, you can actually do 25 more if you meditate and visualize the night before you go to sleep. You can actually fire your muscles. I know there's been studies done where you can make your body feel like it's actually going through the reps like you were actually on the field.
Oh yeah, they can record that with that. You're exactly, yeah.
So I think the last 5 years I've really focused on doing that, because I've also tried to get smarter with my reps and not kick as much, because I do kick a lot.
Yeah, you could blow yourself out at some point. Pull a hammy, especially high up in your butt. I would imagine that's probably the most crucial place.
What happened last year? I'm sure that was kicking too much. Maybe.
So you're 100. He's 100% recovered, even stronger than he was prior to that, because he came back, he rehabbed, he did all the smart things that he needs to do. What do you like on game day? Are you kind of a jerk? Are you a nice guy? Are you still the same guy? Because I know when I go to speak or perform, I don't like
I'm like you. I don't want to be talked to. I'm in my own world. I'll talk to people, and they'll know. Oh, Nick's.
Short, kind of just answer the questions only.
I'm in my locker before the game, 4 hours before the game, getting my stuff ready. Then I'll go out in the field and do my walk. I'll walk the field and visualize before the game. So I'm there probably 2 hours before most players, and I'm focused. I get focused Wednesday, a little more focused Thursday. And then it just builds as I get to the game. So it's, I would say I'm like you when it comes to working out. Just leave me alone. Let me do this.
Just leave me alone. On game day, do you and your wife, does your wife know, because my wife said, man, you're always such a jerk on this. And I'm like, well, if I'm getting ready to do something and I'm a jerk, can we just have a little distance here? And, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure I am a little testy on game day, but I make a point to call my wife before every game. She says the same thing pretty much every time, and then
She pray with you, or what does she do?
We pray.
Yeah.
And then I call my mom, and maybe it'd probably be less than 30-second conversations. She'll say, "You've done this before." She'll always say the same thing. I'm like, "All right, love you. Talk to you later. Talk to you after the game." And then I call my wife, call my mom, and that's it.
In that order every time. It's funny how rituals. I remember when my son Mitch was playing ball, and it's more nerve-wracking to see your kids perform than it ever is for yourself. And I'd always go over and put my hand on his helmet and pray for him every single game, no matter where I was. I mean, if I wasn't able to be there, like some of his college games, I would always call before the game. And you want to just kind of give that extra sense of safety, but there's something about that comforting factor that when you have someone that you really love and care for, that's doing something for you that's oftentimes out of the bounds of comfort for some people. You know what I mean? It's almost like that breath that can take that tension down a notch. That's like, okay, I'm good now. You know what I mean?
Well, you talk about an important thing of faith, and my faith has been developing over the years since high school as a Christian and things. And so that has given me a great deal of peace as far as the not worrying so much about my own ability, that God put me in this position, this moment in time. He's prepared me for this. This wouldn't have happened without his divine intervention. So let's relax and have faith that all the work, all the preparation has you're prepared. Now use the abilities God gave you and go do your job. So that maybe for others who don't have that peace, there's so much pressure. I got to do this. It's all on me. You can get tight and you won't perform. And I'm not necessarily saying Christians do better than non-Christians. I'm just saying it's helped me professionally as a person. Faith in all areas of my life has kept me grounded and has taken the edge off of certain situations, like a game-winning field goal, where it's like.
That's the key right there, is taking the edge off. Because I know for me, like if I go, I'm like anyone else where I doubt myself in like, why would anyone ever ask me to come and speak to a group of people? Who am I? So when I go and I'm getting ready to go off and speak, then all of a sudden I go blank. I mean, like 2 seconds before I'm walking out, everything goes blank. I'm like, I celebrate in that because I realize every bit of me is gone to the side. I'm prepared. I know what I'm talking about. I'm good. Okay, I'm not going to say that I'm not, but I'm not good. It's only that I prepared like you. You kick all the time. You know you've done your work. I know my subject matter. It's not a question. So when I go out there and I go blank, I'm like, yes, because I know I'm not relying on me. Because if I relied on me, I'd be nervous. I would run off the stage. I would not be able to do it. But when I go blank, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. And then I'm like, okay, just use me. Mm-hmm. And then I flow. And I'm like, I come off. I'm like, how did I do that? And I'm like, well, I know how I did it. It wasn't me. I was opening myself up. And some people might not be able to relate to that as a football player, because here, I'm going to keep it real. It bothers me when I see, Christians praying, oh God, let us win. That's stupid, man. But keep me safe, keep me calm, let me do my best. Let me, live up to the expectations or whatever, that sort of thing I get. And that helps, like you said, take the edge off, man. And just kind of like,
right.
Some of the pressure is gone now. It's not all on me as far as I'm concerned, because we can be our hardest critic on I mean, forget all your teammates and all that. You got to live with yourself at the end of the day. And if you can put off some of that aside, like, I know I did my best, period. Mm-hmm. I'm good,
That's what I tell the young guys I work with, kickers, is that just give your best. You'll have no regrets when you look back, whether you made the kick or not. That you just gave that 110%. The outcome matters, but it doesn't in the grand scheme of things, because you can say, I just wasn't good enough, but I gave it everything that I possibly could. So people shouldn't have regrets if they do that.
There's a lot of comfort too in saying he was just better than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you get beat out for a position, I remember my son, his freshman year in college, you know, and the expectation, like, you know, when you're getting recruited, oh yeah, you're going to play this and that and the other thing. And then he just, a few months ago, he said, you know what? That guy was just better than me. Mm-hmm. And he finally was able to say that to himself. And I could see the pressure come off of him, because it's like, well, yeah, that's true, because you were better than someone too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been in workouts where I'll make all 10 field goals, and so did the other guy. But his kicks were 5 feet higher than mine.
And they rate that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it goes through in the uprights. Yeah. I can say Billy Cundiff, we were back and forth for years when he was a free agent. We were multiple competitions for jobs, and it's if you don't bring your A game, your best, then you know that his will beat you. And if he doesn't bring his best and you bring your A game, well, you might get the job. So yeah, it's who's the most focused, and
thank God for people like that in our life too, right? You know, when you're competing, you want to win, but when you sit back in hindsight and you look at it, you're like, thank God for Billy Cundiff, man. Thank God for a Vinatieri. Right. You know what I mean? Because had I not had that guy line and looking at him, you know, you're on one sideline, he's on the other. You're just staring at him like, I got to do better than him today. I just got to do one better than him, you know?
Right. And I also want to add, you got to focus on yourself. If you get caught up in watching him kick and what he's doing, and then you start trying to match what he's doing, then you're pressing. So a lot of competitions, I won't even look at what the other guy does. My reps, my turn, then I'm going, kicking my ball, go back and won't watch the next rep of his, because it's like looking at the leaderboard and you're trying to, in golf. So you try to just stay in your own.
No, but just knowing that guy's over there, you know what I mean? Regardless of whether or not you're seeing him, thank God that he was there to push you, because it was some, you know.
There's a respect, there's Dave Rayner, Billy Cundiff, Robbie Golds, Neil Rackers, all of those guys that I've competed with that are so good and have had great careers. It's like you want to earn their respect, be considered a good kicker as well, because I've always respected the guys that came before me, and let them know that. I think that there's been a shift there with the new generation. It's changed a little bit.
New generation, that's a whole different story. It's funny, I'm looking up on the comments, someone says, a guy that trains with me is like, okay, Clark, I won't cheer you on next time you're going at it. Sorry, Michael Ryan, I love you, brother, but yeah, I don't like when people talk to me when I'm doing anything like that. Anita will tell you. Anita says she wants your hat. Why do you want his hat, man?
Columbia?
Yeah, Columbia. It's not anything special.
American flag on the side.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe she's a patriot. But so moving forward, looking ahead, what are you excited about? I mean, what keeps you going? Obviously getting back in the NFL, but is there anything else that you see beyond the NFL? What do you want to do when it's done? When, because at every point you got to hang up your cleats, you got to realize this is over with for me. What are your goals in life after football?
I'm enjoying the family time that I'm getting with my wife, and it's good to be home. There's obviously some good and bad with not having a job, but thankfully I played, and I can afford to kind of just train and be a husband. I'm coaching now. I'm doing a lot of one-on-one stuff in my area down in Del Cerro, San Diego, near SDSU, that region. There's a lot of great kicking coaches around San Diego County. So I think giving back to kids that have the same dream as mine, is as hard it is to play in the NFL and actually be on a 53-man roster. I want to help kids get to that, not necessarily NFL, but just experience what I experienced. I mean, even the good and the bad, and all of the stuff they're going to probably go through, and just prepare them for that. And I love to coach and just be on the field, and so I see myself doing that. And I larger outside of that, hopefully one day the NFL will hire a kicking coach on every roster, where full-time position. He's there on the practice field, just like a quarterback coach, someone who's played the position, and you're out there with the guys and you're teaching them on a daily basis, watching film. Along with this, most teams have a special teams coach and an assistant special teams coach. I think it would be probably in the best interest of teams, and you won't see so much turnover during the season, I think, because you're right there, able to coach a kicker from Wednesday to Friday, help prepare him for a game, and even in the off season. So I would love the Baltimore Ravens do it.
Didn't the Saints do it for a while with Carney?
Carney did it when who was kicking? I can't remember his name right now, but that would be the ultimate big picture goals. And I think that it could be a possibility just based on conversation.
Well, it should be. I mean, with this specialist like a kicker, especially if a coach like you takes the time to learn the psychology behind it, not just beyond what you know personally, but maybe you study some of that, and then you do some other things that add value outside of just showing someone how to kick and where to place it, how to lean the ball, and where the laces need to be, all that sort of stuff, because those are added values that I think people are in need of today. So if you were talking to a group of young men right now who were aspiring to get to the next level, what would you say to them?
That's a great question. I don't think one little quote or whatever would sum it up, but I think failure is the only way to become successful. I mean, you have to go through some tough times in sports, so getting yelled at by the coach or not performing the way you losing your job, dropping on the depth chart, and then you have to earn your way back up to the top, getting released or cut from an NFL team, being on the street, and it's like, all right, go back to work, get better. I think that's it. I mean, I think every great athlete who's experienced a lot of success will say they've failed more times than not, and it's you got to go through that, and just it's not. I don't say you don't want to live in failure, but you once you get out of it, you don't want to go back. It's like it's only made you tougher. It's just prepared you more for that next situation that you might have failed at before. I think that's important.
So I kind of set you up because, you're currently in that position in your life with your career. And I just want to remind you as a quality person to take this time that you're not doing what you're doing and use it as a tool for you to get better, not just as a kicker, but as a person who can contribute on that 52-man roster on a level that I know you're more interested in being used at than any other level. You are a guy who is interested in helping people, praying with them, and sharing your faith with people. So that might be where you're at today, so you can establish that on a much deeper level so you can go back into the league, because I believe you will. I believe that I'm his good luck piece, that after this interview today, just like last time he came up and trained with me, he got re-signed with the Chargers for the third time. I'm going to take credit for that. Yep. And I'm saying that is going to happen again, my brother, because every business needs good people. And every business, and the NFL is a business, needs quality people. And this is a good man, a quality man, and a great athlete. And he is going to go see some high school football tonight, man. High school football starting up and fired up, right?
Grossmont High School.
Grossmont High School.
One of my kids goes there, so I'm excited to do that. When I played in Houston for 2 years, that was a lot of the players went to Friday night, and it was just as big as going to a college football game. So it's
Texas football, yeah, right. Absolutely.
So I haven't gone yet in a long time to a high school game in California. So I'm excited to maybe go to that tonight.
Right on. Well, hey, while he's at the high school football game, talking to these kids, because I'm sure someone's going to come up to him. NFL, Nick Novak is ready to come back and play. He's come back, come win some games. Jim, go ahead and take us out here. Listen, if you're out there on the sidelines of your life and you're ready to get back in the game, just keep at it, man. Don't stop. Keep pushing, keep practicing, keep trying. Keep surrounding yourself with people who are going to lift you up to another level, because it ain't over yet. It's time. It might be the fourth quarter, but the world needs you. Get out there. Make it a great day. Thank you to my man, Nick Novak. Thank you to Jim, Providence Video Productions. I'm your man, Clark Bartram. That's it. We'll see you next time. Peace.
You're listening to the Pants Off Podcast with Clark Bartram and Jeremy Jackson.
CBT's Performance Apparel, where fashion meets performance. Upload your custom design or grab the CBT's Deal of the Week at clarkstees.com. The podcast with CB and JJ is sponsored by Providence Video Productions in Escondido, California, providers of full creative, video, and audio production services. Utilizing state-of-the-art professional equipment for all your broadcast needs. Webpage embedded or live streaming videos and podcasts. Aerial drone videography. Music videos, 3D animation, studio and field production. Contact us at providencevid.com.